Wow. Gosh, that was such a nice introduction. Just want to make sure I got my fly up. Look, if you said to me 3 years ago or even 1 year ago that 550 people would show up in a room to talk about transmission, I would have been completely stunned by that declaration. The idea that we're all here to talk about a bill that am I singing? Is something in my pocket? It would just have blown my mind if we said, let's get together to talk about transmission. But I think what's happening is the talk about Bill 50 is causing everyone in our industry, and now I think everyone in society, to ask fundamental questions, maybe for the first time. We've been seduced into thinking that the way we've done it since the 40s is somehow the way we must continue to do it. And I'm very suspicious about Bill 50 from the perspective of, why is it such a big blockbuster event? And I'm going to talk about some theories about that. But the point of getting together today is clearly to talk about Bill 50, and we're certainly going to draw out the issues of Bill 50. But I really want to ask you all to think about, this is an inflection point. This is a point where we can actually use the information that's being discussed around Bill 50 to make fundamental changes. All right. Now, with that, we're here to talk about the bill, and I'm going to bring out some of the other issues. But I do want to stress one thing. We have and had the choice to be completely silent. I had one person on my senior team say, Gary, silence is golden. You just got to let these things play out. But there's something that triggered a few months ago that said to all of us collectively, our customers actually need us to do this. This is like a sense of obligation. I'm not here to kind of create a scenario to make money for the shareholder. I'm here to create a scenario to save money for society. And you read in the paper all sorts of things about that issue. It's only a few dollars a month for a consumer. Maybe it's only $200 or $300 a year. Who cares? We spend more than that in lattes for most of us. Or we used to until we gave them up. But the point is, it's a lot of money on the economy, and that all trickles down to the consumer. Just because it's only a few $100 to a consumer, every laundromat, every restaurant, every movie they go to, every gas station they fill up at, the costs rise. And we can't afford to do that if we have choices. So let me come back to more customer issues. Alberta was built on the principle that responsible, investor-owned utilities and municipal utilities can work together, and they can do so without fear of taking advantage of customers because we have monopolies. The only province in Canada where this is allowed. And the way it worked was we put in place an incredibly strong regulator to keep the scoundrels out. And this is really important. In fact, if you picture a world without it, it gets rather confusing. And this has been going on for over 100 years. That regulator brought prudence and discipline. And it wasn't just that they said no to a bunch of stuff, but their very presence caused the utilities who had to put forward projects to be super sure. And I mean super sure, and I sat through a lot of these meetings. We wouldn't have dared try to float something by the regulator that we didn't think was just. And it was just the presence of that regulator that caused that reaction. You're going to hear about Bill 50 and how that issue changes. We also had a sense of community. We had a sense of, we're actually all in this together. We're here to create a province that's internationally competitive. We're here to make sure that our consumers enjoy one of the greatest qualities of life because we have low-cost water, power, sewer, whatever else that we use essentially in our society. And that sense of community, I can tell you from direct experience, was part of the culture in the utility companies I worked for. And that's changing. Bill 50 puts this, in my opinion, and I challenge you to think of it this way. Bill 50 puts that fundamental cultural attribute in jeopardy.